location of Tots and Teens in Focus. Yes, it's adults, but whatever is going on here, it's part of the family. And we're talking about cancer. And I have three beautiful ladies here. They are parents and they could talk about all that is going on in their life or what they experience or they know other folks may have it. Welcome to Tots and Teens in Focus. I know you're not a tot or a teen, but you're just right for this occasion. We have Michelle Mentis.
Yes.
And Michelle is a candidate for cancer, and she will be able to tell us how she's coping with it, the recovery process, and how she find out. And we have her friend Renee, and Renee will give her views about cancer because she just learned today that her mother friend died with cancer. So that is part of it, affects you mentally, emotionally, physically, and everything that you could think about. Welcome, ladies, to Tots and Teens in Focus.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, my special guest today is Michelle Mentis. Michelle had the experience of recovering or still in the process of recovering from breast cancer, and something that she did not know that she had, but from the experience and what they told her. Michelle, let's talk about your experience.
Yes. Well, my experience started in 2020, of course, during COVID, where nobody could visit anybody, be around anyone. Everything was shut down, locked down. And I'm a stickler for going to doctors. So what happened was that I constantly go to get my mammograms done every year. And this particular year, of course, 2020, I go and get it done. And when I got the letter in the mail, they told me that everything was fine. And then I got another letter in the mail that's like, oh, well, we see something. And they're like, oh, don't worry about it. It's like we saw a hair on the screen. So I'm like, okay, because I'm used to getting notation, notes, letters in the mail stating that I'm fine. But this one particular time, the last time I went and got a mammogram done, they sent me a letter in the mail and they said, we need you to get a biopsy done. So it got to the point where they wanted me to do a 3D mammogram, because usually we just take the regular mammograms where they just put your breast on the plate, they squish it in and everything, and they call it a day. But they have a special screening where you get a 3D done where it goes more intense and deeper into the tissue, and it goes, the screening goes further back, like all the way to your breastbone plate area. When I got my mammogram done with the 3D, as I stated before on your station, Ms. Trim, the technicians usually don't tell you to go and get a biopsy done as soon as possible. Technicians do their job, they view the screen, and then, they do the little things, and you letter in the mail and call it a day. But this day, I thank God for him or her that they told the assistant, okay, let Ms. Mentis know that she needs to go get a biopsy done as soon as possible. I need her to call. I was still in the office and my phone was dying. It was at the end of the day, couldn't make the telephone call. But me being who I am, I got the testing done like around the ending of May, beginning of June. So I'm saying to myself, oh, girl, your birthday's right around the corner. You're going to be 50. You don't need to take tests so early. And you could always go and get the biopsy done. But when I got home and I really thought about it again, God was like, child, what you talking about? You're gonna wait till your birthday? Hello, we're going through COVID. You can't go nowhere. So just go get the biopsy done. And I'm like, oh shoot, everything's showed down. So you know what? Let me go. So June 9th, I went to the clinic and I got the biopsy done. And as I said, it did not tickle, it hurt. I'm being transparent, and I'm gonna tell you, they had to numb my side and they had to put a little incision to put the clamp in order to remove a part of the tissue. Now, as I stated, I did not feel anything. I always do self breast examinations and stuff like that. There was no lump, there was no pain, there was no signs. No, they usually tell you if you have cancer, you get like a secretion coming from your nipple or something like. There was nothing. So I was absolutely fine going in for a biopsy. I was like, oh, ain't no biggie, nothing. But unfortunately, yes, well, unfortunately / fortunately, I went in and I got the biopsy done, and they tell you, you hear the machine and they tell you not to move. It's very hard not to move because I actually felt them remove the tissue from the breast area. And I just felt this warm liquid running down my side. I was like, oh my gosh. And I'm sitting there crying, and the nurse is holding my hand. She was like, you're going to be okay. I'm like, yeah, but I felt that. And I'm like, oh my gosh, it hurt so bad. And, they got the tissue, they removed it, they stitched me up, put the bandage. I left, had to, of course, you can't lift anything heavy. Waited a couple of days to go back in to see my regular doctor, my regular PCP doctor. So as I stated, 2 days before my birthday, because my birthday is June 17th, I went to the doctor on the 15th to just go in for a regular checkup like I usually do. And as I left her office, and I'm at the front desk getting ready to sign out, she's running and she's like, oh, did Miss Mentis leave yet? Because she got a call. Before I could even get to the back, I automatically knew. I knew what she was calling me for, and I already knew the answer. God prepared me. And this is why I say we have to be so vigilant and strong in God, and believe in God and trust in who He is. Because when He gives you that peace to let you know that, okay, this is what's going to happen. I need you to be strong. We got this. That's exactly what he did. When I went inside the office and I sat down, she walked in and she had this look on her face. And as I said, I already knew. She was like, well, Miss Mentis, I just want to let you know that the test results came back positive. So I was like, okay. As I said, I shed my 2 tears and I was like, okay, so what are we doing? Like, let's get this ball rolling. What we got to do? What's the process? Let's go. So, she gave me the whole spiel of, the chemo, the radiation, the pills, gave me the listing of everything. My oncologist that I would have to see. And just to make the long story short, I, went to a few radiologists to find out about doing the radiation and everything. And as I stated before, I went to one particular doctor, and my thing is, as I said, if you don't feel comfortable walking into a doctor's office and your vibe just don't take with that person, you have every right not to accept their services. Because my thing is, this is your body we're talking about. This is a doctor who has to take care of you, and this is a doctor that you got to see maybe on a frequent basis or probably for the rest of your life. You don't know. But again, my thing is, you need to be very comfortable who you're with. And if you don't feel comfortable, you have every right to say that you don't want this person to render any services to you. You have every right to contact your health insurance company and say to them, look, I went to see this doctor on such and such a date. He didn't do anything. No services was rendered. Do not pay them. I want my co-payment reimbursed back because they didn't do anything. There's not a problem doing that, because that's exactly what I did. I called them. I called my insurance company. No, because this is my life we're talking about. I have to entrust myself to you so you can help me fix everything that's going on. So, couple of days went by. As I said, when I found out, I really didn't want to tell anybody. I felt that I was going to just deal with it on my own. And the reason being is not, and this is just me. It wasn't a matter of being selfish. And it wasn't a matter of me saying, okay, I'm strong enough, I can do this. It was more of a matter of, I didn't want anybody's attitude to change. I want you to accept me and appreciate me. Accept and appreciate the same Michelle that you saw last week, the week before, the month before that. I'm still the same person. I have not changed. But I don't want you to take what's going on with me and say, oh my gosh, now I got to baby her. No, don't baby me. I'm fine. I mean, as I said, God is my rock. I'm leaning on Him. I'm good. And contrary to popular belief, sometimes when people say that, they say it just to say it and sugarcoat it and make it look cutesy. No, I I was like, look, God, you know what? Truthfully, my body belongs to you. I'm just renting this show. This whole thing belongs to you. So if you're the landlord and you figure you want to take a couple of pieces away from it, who am I to argue and say, no, you can't do that? It's not my place to do that. And then again, if I say that I believe in Him, I have to trust that He's going to fix everything that needs to be fixed. And because I believe in Him, He did. I may have a little couple of flaws here and there, but again, your faith and your trust is so important, and it has to be so strong
That's
at
right.
every single second, minute, and time. So once I went in and as I said, I got the results back and everything. I went to see a couple of doctors here and there. I have my permanent oncologist, but my sister went with me to one of the radiologists. And when they stated to me that the way how the radiation works, where the radiation is going to beam on the area that's cancerous and is going to burn you from the inside out. I'm like, I'm I'm sitting here, and when the doctor walked out the room, I'm looking at my sister and I'm like, okay, so wait, okay, it's on the left side. That's where the heart is, my lungs. I got to deal with a pulmonary doctor, a cardiologist. I got Now I got an oncologist, and I got a surgeon. My mind was just wheeling because of now there's so many extra doctors that I got to go and see. And I was like, I don't know if I have the will to go through all of that, because one is it will take a lot of time from me out of work. And I did not know what the outcome was going to be. I don't know what was going to happen. Your life is never foretold in advance. But I sat back and I said, you know what? If push comes to shove, I will just remove both, and then I'll just deal with it. So I finally told my family and I told my friends, and I let them know what was going on. I mean, a couple cried here and there. I was like, oh gosh, but didn't I say it? I was like, Jesus, this is why I didn't want to say nothing. But it was good to say something, because at least people know. And if I
And
had
they
my
could help
moments,
you. They could,
yeah,
keep you in prayers or.
and if I had my moments where I would break down, at least they know why I was breaking down. So, uh, within the time of me having to finding out, of course, I had to go in and have surgery, because I went in twice. They had to try to remove the cell itself. But now the thing is, it was so far back that they literally had to go close to my breastbone area to remove some of the tissue. And as I stated, the surgeon removed some of it. Dr. Parikh, he removed some of the tissue. I went to see my oncologist after I healed. He was like, no, Michelle, we need to take more of the perimeter. He said, because the surgeon did not go beyond the perimeter of what he wanted to have removed. So I went back in the second time. The first time I went was in April. Second time I went back again was in August, and they removed some more, and my oncologist still wasn't happy with that. But in the midst of that time, I was getting a lot of pain on the left side. I'm like, okay, this is crazy. So I would have to keep going in to my surgeon to have the breast drained, because there was a lot of liquid being built up on the left side of the breast area, to the point where I'm at work and my breast got real hot and it was bright red, and I couldn't take the pain anymore. And I left the office. I went to him. It was a small little office that he was in. It wasn't his regular office. And technically I wound up getting an infection. And as I said, I have my warrior scar, which I'm never going to have that covered or removed. He had to cut me with the scalpel to, not to sound nasty, but squeeze out the infection that was there. Because if he didn't, it would have, it basically would have spread, and
Yeah.
he didn't want that to happen. So he cut me, squeezed everything out. And as I said, as he was doing that, I was feeling the relief. The pain was slowly subsiding. The coloration was coming back. I was like, oh, thank you. Like, oh, this is like a sigh of relief. I dealt with the pain of him cutting. But that particular pain itself, it was no joke. It hurt so badly. But he patched me up. I left. I went home. My mother was getting kind of antsy, because she was like, oh, how long you got to wait to have the surgery done? And again, it's COVID. So there was a lot going on with, unfortunately, people passing. So fast forward to October 28th of 2020 was the day that I went in. And as I stated to you, on October 27th, I had a conversation with my girls, because we've been together for a while.
Your
So
girls.
yes.
I love you, but you got to go.
Yes, I was like, we've been together, we've been through some stuff, but unfortunately, you're gonna be gone by tomorrow morning, approximately 4 o'clock, because it was an 8 to 9 hour surgery that I was in.
Mm.
Because with me talking to my surgeon, he introduced me to a plastic surgeon. And I did not know about this procedure that's called the deep flap. And the deep flap consists of the plastic surgeon removing muscle from your abdomen area. So me being a chunky girl, I had enough meat to put at the top when they removed the breast itself. So I went from basically a 44 double D down to a BC cup. Instead of me having to have like the silicone put in, they actually used my tissue itself, which was safer and much more convenient, because then I wouldn't have to worry about having to go back to the doctor so often for them to fill up the silicone with fluid to stretch the skin out, which would have taken kind of like a longer process. But I'm grateful that Dr. Neil Tanner, my plastic surgeon, he knew what he was doing. It was a long process, and it had a lot of steps that went with it, but he was on point. After the surgery, I came home with 4 tubes. My eldest sister, she took care of me because I could not move. I had 2 tubes attached to the top underneath my armpit area, and then I had 2 on the side. That was crazy in itself because one of the tubings, I wound up catching an infection, so I had to have an emergency visit with the plastic surgeon, which, again, not to sound too graphic, the infection was so bad that they had to cut my skin off of the tubing that was attached to me. I had to take a lot of oxy so I wouldn't feel it, but unfortunately I did, because this is your skin we're talking about, and there was nothing really to like numb the area, so I had to deal with the pain of them cutting and removing it. But other than that, I mean, it's, it was a process. It was a long process. It was a lot of extra surgeries, going back in to have the the stitches removed, to have the nipple area reconstructed, because he created it himself, which many people don't know about that. It can be constructed, and it can be colored and tattooed, and it looks natural. So I thank my plastic surgeon for that. And right now, where I'm at right now, I just suffer with the scar tissues. The scar tissues basically is the last part of the healing process, but that's because of the fact that I really haven't healed. Because they tell you not to lift anything heavy. But because I have my mother, and at the time I had my dad around, I still had to do my shopping, my grocery shopping. I still had to go to work. So that kind of created some of the scar tissues. And I had a few lymph nodes removed, which also gave me what they call lymphedema. So the left side swells up every now and then.
What is a lymphedema?
Lymphedema is when they remove the lymph nodes from under your armpit. So because of that, the glands, so once those glands is removed, it swells you up every now and then. So right now, my left side swells up a lot. So as I stated to you, I can wear jeans, but they have to be big size. So I'm a size 16. My jeans have to basically be like a size 18, or they have to be so worn out that they're stretched. But between that, I'm also in the process of wearing leggings. So leggings and me are the best of buddies because it got a lot of spandex in it. And
let me ask Renee, what do you think about what she's saying? What is your thought process?
Well, see, me personally, I knew what Michelle had told me, like, about her cancer, but I never knew in depth that she had to go through all of that. Michelle, you did tell me that you caught an infection, I mean, I never knew that you went through so much pain, and I never knew like all of those steps. I just thought when you told me at the time that you had to go for a biopsy, I knew that they would take a needle and insert it into the area, probably pull out, the affected area, and probably, I guess, look at it under a microscope. See, I don't know. It's what,
That's the thing that, we don't We, although she's talking, we could only imagine,
That's
but
what
we
I'm
don't
saying.
have no idea unless you say, unless you pass through it, then you will understand
Exactly.
she's talking about, because we're listening to her, we're feeling it in our body, because every minute I'm feeling my breast, we're feeling it, but actually the pain and the thought of it, it makes you want to scream, it makes you want to holler, because now is a case where, should I take my breast? Should I do this? Should I do that? So it's something that is horrible, but yes, you have to endure it. And Michelle had to endure it.
Yeah.
Michelle, now that you're going through the process of healing, how far do you think, how much healing do you think you have overcome?
Wow. In terms of that, honestly, I think I have healed a lot, because at the time of the surgery, I woke up that morning and I just looked down and I was like, okay, I'm flat. And but the healing process itself,
And
I
you're not in
swelled
pain.
up.
Well, you're in pain, but not in.
No. Thank you, God. No, not from the beginning. But you want to know something? Truthfully, the morning that I woke up after the surgery, I didn't feel anything. At that time, I felt nothing. I just felt like I was in a deep sleep and I woke up. But it wasn't until I started to heal, and like all the medication that they put me
Or
under,
cut out his system.
weaned out. Exactly. That's when everything started kicking in. Like, the abdomen area, I had I guess you could say what they call like a cesarean cut. Yeah, down the below the belly area. So that I felt
Hold a
that.
minute. Hold a minute. If my video is going to cut anytime now. So you just wait, and then you coming back. Okay?
Okay.
5, 4, 3, 2. Continue.
Oh, yeah, so I have what they call a cesarean cut, and I I give the women who go through the pregnancy with the cuts, I give them the utmost respect. I don't know how they could get themselves cut 2, 3, 4 times. I got cut once and it hurt. So
It
that
do hurt.
in itself, yeah, yes, that in itself, I'm like, I don't know how they do it. But as I started healing, I started swelling. And my vision of when it took me a while to look at myself in the mirror. And I'm not gonna lie, the very first time that I was able to take a shower and I stood in front of my sister's full body mirror, I felt like I was Frankenstein who was cut up, chopped up, and stitched back together. That's how I viewed myself when I first looked at myself in the mirror, because I just saw a whole bunch of scars all over me, and that was the only thing that I could that's the only image that I could think
But
of.
they banded down.
Well, no.
They didn't band it down.
Well, no, because the lower abdomen cut that I had, they did have a bandage there, but it wasn't like a band to wrap around me, which was one of the things I did not know. Oh, and I will tell anybody who hears this, when you do go in for the surgery, and if you do the deep flap and they decide to take the tissue from your abdomen area, get yourself one of those bands to wrap yourself around so your stomach and the air can just escape. Again, first time, didn't know, but I'll I have no problem giving out the advice to let you know
Right.
what to look for. God forbid if
That's
anybody
why
else has to
that's
go
why
through.
you're here. So you could give out the advice, because even our program is about tots and teens, and even if they are looking, they can able to examine themselves, because they're growing up. They're not growing down. They're
But
growing
Yeah.
up. And they can know of these things in advance. I think what really happened is that we had no knowledge about it, because most time, long ago, when people get this type of disease or sickness, they hide it away. Everybody hide it. They don't tell you anything. So nobody come back and tell you what is the experience or how you're going through, or you only hear the death,
Mhm.
but you never know. But
Yeah.
it's good that you were able to to give out information. This is information that every woman should have and every woman should know, because we look for the breasts to see if anything coming out. And if you don't see anything, we say it's okay, but then it could be till at the back on the armpit. So now when we think we got to raise our armpit now and feel, because sometimes we think it's okay, but whatever it is, the glands, because that is the glands, and that's the glands that really be there for your body to make certain that you don't have any infection.
Exactly.
The glands is there today.
Well,
Renee, you were talking about your mother's friend. How
Yeah.
was she doing? How
Well,
the process that she went through? Is it similar like
that's
Miechelle?
I found out late, like that she had cancer. I didn't even know she had cancer. By the time,
That's the same thing we talking. People don't talk. They hide it away. Something,
Yeah,
hide it under
but I knew
the bed, and nobody will know.
Yeah, I knew something was wrong because she had
She started
developed.
losing weight.
Yeah, she did lose some weight, but then like her right arm blew up. It bloated. Her right arm was swelled and it stayed like that. And her hand swelled up. So it was like she had a normal size arm and one that was big. And I didn't know she had cancer. When I saw her, like sometimes you want to ask a person what's going on, but then you don't want to get too personal.
But unless they tell you.
You feel as though if they want you to know, they will tell you.